Still not sure on their screen, guys. Well, that,
Ta-da!
Hello.
that was fun, not?
We're here. That's all that matters.
Gremlins were here too. Wow, just
Yes.
haven't had that much trouble since the first show.
Well, there you go.
Maybe.
Maybe this is Sunday Night Astronomy Show Rewind.
It could be. I talked to some people. They said they just tune in to see how much how many things happen to us. But
Yeah.
Oh,
well, tonight was one of those nights.
whatever
Tried
works.
5-6 times to get online, but now we are anyway. We are online now. We're a little bit late. We apologize, folks, but we are here.
Better late than never.
Yeah. Good evening, everybody, and welcome back to our Sunday night offering of astronomy edutainment, the Sunday Night Astronomy Show. Yay! My name is Chris Kerwin, the creator of social media channels known as Astronomy by the Bay. I'm also an amateur astronomer. A bit of a mix-up here tonight, and also a member of our RASC and B. There, put it that way.
Yep.
I'd like to welcome back my two regular co-hosts this evening, Mr. Paul Owen from the Moonshot Observatory in Hampton. Paul, good evening, sir.
Hello, in my ice.
Mr. Mike Powell from the PFO Observatory here in St. John. Mike.
Hey.
Hey, blame the snow. Thanks, Winston. Again. I was out shoveling today, so that might be part of it. We'd like to welcome back to all of you tonight from YouTube and Facebook, and all of you are joining us through the local Rogers TV network. Thank you so much for your support.
Hey, I have a question for you before you get into all the
Yeah.
usual intro stuff.
Yeah.
Is it just me,
Yes.
or when we're out in our driveway shoveling the snow and it's starting to clear up, do you get that inkling that, oh, it's going to be a clear night? This would be a great night for either observing or imaging?
Mm.
Does that go through your head?
And here we are. What are we doing tonight?
And I was thinking about that after. I was thinking, what a bummer.
And then it clouds over.
And it's
I know
okay.
when I was coming out to the garage here, it started clouding over again after seeing some sunshine. I went, wow.
Yeah. But anyway, I just noticed that, like, over the years when I felt like I was going to do some imaging, and after a big snowstorm, it's always usually a nice clear night.
Mm.
And so as I'm clearing off the roof of the observatory and all that stuff, it's like, oh yeah, this is
right. Crisp, the air's crisp, and
yeah.
actually, we got to get back to live streaming on here sometime too. I mean, Jupiter would be a nice target right now, but it's not high enough up for either one of you guys, I guess, at 8 o'clock. But
Yeah, even Venus I can't get because of my house.
yeah, so maybe there's some other targets, maybe like Orion or
I'd have to switch scopes anyway to get Jupiter.
Yeah.
C8 or something out there.
Yeah. Well, we've done it before. Probably do it again.
Oh yeah.
Something to look forward to down the road. Okay, well, let's get over tonight, first of all. Now, there are probably two night sky shapes that are familiar to most of us who look up. That's the shape of the Big Dipper asterism that we see in the summertime sky, and the shape of the Orion constellation we see in the wintertime sky. Now, both offer many celestial targets, and both provide us with a signpost, basically, to other constellations and their treasures. Now, since we are surely in the midst of winter now, after today, we are going to spend some time tonight focusing on Orion and what it has to offer for us. We'll look at its perceived shape, how and when to locate it, and some of the fascinating secrets within. Also tonight, Final Bud will be returned with another Finding Binocular Target of the Week to enjoy. Paul will be delivering another Rosanna's Fun Fact episode. I'll have a quick look at some of the upcoming celestial events for this week, and got a lot of photo submissions this week, so happy to see that. So let's get started then tonight, guys, with a look at that familiar star of the wintertime sky, that familiar star of the wintertime sky, Orion. And I guess that's going to be me.
It's going to be you.
Okay.
Let's take a vote.
Why not? Why not? Not that I haven't messed up enough tonight, but here we go again. Okay. I'm not going to open the power. I have a PowerPoint here, but just going to show a few slides. And it's from an older PowerPoint I had, but we're kind of just getting onto the topic a bit. So let's get to this one maybe. So we are talking about Orion, and what about Orion? Well, Orion is the 26th largest constellation, and it is one of the most recognized. It is best viewing really from December through to February. 2 of the 10 brightest stars in the night sky exist in Orion, and a number of the deep sky treasures, mostly nebula. Orion is, according to the Greek legend, Orion was the mortal son of the god Poseidon. He had extraordinary good looks, and don't we all, I guess, and great skills as a hunter. He was also very boastful. Now, after bragging that he could hunt down and kill any creature alive, the Earth Mother, Gaia, caused a great scorpion to rise up from the earth and kill Orion after a fierce battle. Well, here goes one of those tales again. Now, Zeus took pity on Orion and placed him in the night sky. Zeus also memorialized the scorpion, but to keep the two apart, he placed them at opposite ends of the sky. So we watch one rise as the other sets. Just a little bit about Orion being I mentioned the signpost, so just a couple of shots of using Orion as a signpost. So we do this with the Big Dipper too. We can take the stars of the Big Dipper and use them to point us to other constellations. So for example, here we are going through Rigel and straight up through Betelgeuse, and you'll go right up to the constellation of Gemini. If we go through the bottom left star there and up through the top right star, we'll end up at Auriga and the bright star Capella. Off right through the two shoulders of Orion, and we'll get over to Canis Minor and the bright star Procyon. From there, if we take the 3 stars in the belt and follow straight down, we're going to hit the brightest star in the sky, Sirius, which is in Canis Major. And 3 stars in the belt and head up to the right, we're going to go right on to Aldebaran, that really red star right there, really bright red one. And then on to, of course, the beautiful Pleiades cluster. So I'm going to stop there, and I'm going to let the other guys share their parts from that point.
Yeah. Well, we could do that.
I'm going to take a
Are
break.
you serious?
I'm going to take a break.
There's lots of orange up there now, too. I mean, you got Aldebaran's up there, Pleiades.
Mars.
Yeah, Mars is coming through. Yeah.
Yeah.
We call that the orange corner of the sky this month, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
You want to train yourself just a little bit when you're first looking at Orion, or if you're new to observing. Naked eye, just go outside when Orion's up, starting to get up to a good observable height, say, 30, 40 degrees in the sky. And look at Rigel, which is the bottom from our perspective in the bottom right hand. And then look at Betelgeuse up on the top left hand. And you can actually see the different colors, naked eye, on those 2 stars. So one will seem very bright and almost white, which would be Rigel, because it actually is quite blue. And then you look at Betelgeuse, which of course is it's very similar to Aldebaran in terms of its color. So if you want to kind of look at that and start kind of practice with kind of looking at different color stars, Orion is a great one to start that with.
Absolutely.
I've got a couple of neat things about Orion. Let me just throw this up, see if this comes up on the screen here. You see my picture of Orion there?
Yes.
We do, yes.
So, I mean, I got looking around on the internet, and I thought, okay, everybody types in, tell me some facts about Orion. And I typed in, tell me stuff I don't know about Orion. I come up with some pretty cool stuff. Like number one, this star in the belt, the third star, Mintaka, rises almost due east and sets due west from everywhere on the globe. That's pretty cool. Like no matter where you are on Earth, it rises and sets due east and due west. That's pretty cool. Another thing I found out about that one simple little star is it's not one star. See if I can pull this up. It's actually 5 stars. So when you're, I don't think our telescopes can split it, but they've actually found out that it's a grouping of 5 stars, not a single star, which blew me away to find out that. I'm looking at 5 different stars when I see one dot. So I thought that was kind of cool. Another thing I found or come across, and I'm sure most people have seen this before, is this shot here. We see Orion from Earth as, the shape that it is, but the stars aren't where you think they are. They're not sitting on a little flat plane and they're all nice and, spaced to the same distance away from us. Like it goes way out there. Starting with Bellatrix, which is the closest to us, is still 252 light years away, but Betelgeuse is double that. It's, 498 light years away. And as you work your way out, Rigel is 863 light years away. Our beautiful Orion Nebula is 1,300 plus light years away from us. And then, of course, that one star up in the center of the belt, you go all the way out, that sucker is 1,976 light years away. So it's fascinating to think that the distance between all of these stars, and yet when we look at it, it looks like the nice shape on a flat plane. I thought that was kind of cool. And then I was looking around and I came across this, and we've all heard of Bernard's Loop. Well, there's been some great controversy and talk about what made Bernard's Loop. And doing some research, found out that researchers have long debated, for more than 100 years, in fact, the origin of Bernard's Loop. Now, astrophysicist Michael Foley and his team think they know how it formed using 3D data, and I'm going to show a quick little video here in a minute on some of this 3D data. They've traced the loop's origins back to a supernova that took place within the last 4 million years or so. Specifically, they identified an expanding star cluster named OBP-B1 as the likely source of the stars that exploded as a supernova. The cluster lies near the center of both Bernard's Loop and what's called the giant dust cavity. And long ago, supernova have swept up any intervening dust, clearing the cavity. So that's why right in around the belt area where you see a dark cavity, there's no dust in there because it blew away. Several other molecular clouds, including Orion A and B, and one associated with Lambda Orionis, line the edge of the cavity. Their alignment suggests that most of the star's formation in the Orion complex occurred at the cavity's edge, triggered by a supernova pressure wave. So that whole lineup down this side is being pushed away just from the pressure waves from the supernova. And this 3D modeling is what they did to find out about that. And I thought that was pretty cool. So we think we have the answer as to why Bernard's Loop exists and looks like that is because it was a supernova. Here I'm going to show a quick video, and this is what they call the 3D building model of building the Orion and the areas that are around it with Bernard's Loop and all the different nebula and things like that. So I'm just going to give it a shot here. Hopefully you can hear the sound.
There's no sound there, Mike, but
Wonder why it's not sharing my sound.
That's okay. We can read it.
okay, yeah.
It's only elevator music anyway.
Hmm. Interesting stuff.
That was different. I'll close that for now. And then I thought that was kind of neat to find out, that Bernard's Loop and all that was formed by a supernova, and then how they figured out through 3D modeling where it actually came from.
Hmm.
That was pretty cool. So just one other thing that caught me, and once I thought about it, I went, okay, this is real. When we look at Orion, this is what we see. Guess what? When you're down in Australia, that's what they see.
Yeah.
So, we wonder what's below the belt. They wonder what's above the belt, I guess. Yeah, you don't think of it from that perspective, but it's kind of cool.
Yeah.
And then the other thing I felt was this is how basically we look and see Orion the hunter. And then this is how the Japanese see it. He's actually a fisherman. And then this is how the Navajo culture looked at it. This is actually a bow. And this is a warrior shooting the bow. So that's pretty cool just to see the different perspectives on how, other cultures see it and stuff like that.
That's cool.
Last thing I like about it is, boom, it is part of the Winter Circle, which is now up.
It is. Yeah.
There you go. There's Rigel stands out as the one star in Orion that's part of it. Then it goes up to Aldebaran, Capella, Castor or Pollux. Most of it goes to Pollux, then Procyon and Sirius. But there's your Winter Circle when anybody's talking about it, the Winter Octagon. But anyway, there's some facts about Orion that some you might have known and some you may not have known. I thought it was pretty cool.
Awesome. Let me show this one more thing, Paul, before you get started there, because it does kind of draw on the Mike's talk earlier. I meant to show this a little bit earlier here. So we can probably play it here. So Mike mentioned about, the stars in the sky, of course, aren't not on a flat plane. They have depth. So this is just to show a little more of a true placement, I guess, of the stars of Orion. If we look at it side-on view, we can see that the distances have really changed.
Crazy, eh?
That's just at about a 45-degree view, but if we keep going, we'll come around to about 90-degree view here.
It just goes to show you that Orion doesn't look like Orion side on, does it?
I kind of like the other look better. Although maybe if I was looking at it from some other place and seeing it this way, it might look good too.
That's kind of a Tesla sign.
Jeez, great.
Anyway, just to show you that all the constellations are really like that. All the stars are at different distances away. So
Yeah.
Yeah, there's another one, a 3D version of that for the Big Dipper as well.
right.
Yeah.
Over time. Okay.
I suppose if we ever got to move out into deep space, you're going to have to learn that the constellations don't look like they do from here when you get out there.
Exactly.
How are you going to navigate, right? You can't say, well, I'm going to go to Orion because it's not there.
Well,
It's
I wonder
one
though
spot.
how far out in space you'd have to get before you see a difference.
There's
Well,
a good question.
I mean, the closest star is only 4 light years out. You still got to travel quite a ways to get some of these ones. You're
Yeah.
talking 440 light years out to.
That's what I mean. So, like, how far would you have to travel before our perspective of that would change?
Hmm.
You know what I mean? That'd be an interesting question.
Yeah, it would be. That's,
Yeah. Anyway, yeah.
what a difference when you think, yeah, it's like this black piece of paper up there somebody poked holes in, right?
Exactly.
This picture behind me is the latest James Webb picture of the Orion Nebula.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, it's funny how the Webb telescope really is showing such a different side of everything that
Yeah.
we know to be what the Hubble took photos of.
Yeah.
Some are familiar and some aren't.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Technology is a wonderful thing.
It is indeed.
Okay, Paul, what do you got?
All right, so mine, of course, is for the people who like to take pictures out there. And I just wanted to kind of show, I think I'll show the gear first. And just to show people what little equipment you need to take some phenomenal photographs of Orion. I'm going to show you one that somebody actually has on Astrobin that they took of Orion. Broke it all down into nomenclature and all that stuff. It's really kind of cool. But when you see it, when you first look at it, you're thinking, man, the guy must have, quite a telescope going and quite a big mount going and all the latest of everything going. And actually, I'll show you the picture first, then I'll show you the gear because I think that'll be more dramatic. All right, so I'm going to share my screen here, and I'm going to show you what I found interesting with Orion. So it's this one right here. So this was a fellow named Ori Shabte, and he's from Jerusalem. And he took this photo in a Bortle 6 sky. So that's a pretty bright sky. That's not, that's kind of like where Mike lives.
Yeah.
You'd be pretty close to a 6, probably 5 anyway.
I'm a 5+. Yeah.
Yeah. So, and that's that's in the heart of a city, really. Not in the core, but in the surroundings of a city. So that's a lot of light pollution. So look what this guy did. So what he's got here is Barnard's Loop, which is what Mike was talking about. And by the way, a lot of people don't shoot that because most of the times with the cameras that they're using, the field of view is just way too small to be able to even see the Barnard's Loop. So that's why a lot of people don't shoot that and aren't even aware of it until you start to study, some of the stuff that's going on in and around Orion. So with this one here, he's got nomenclature on everything. So it names all the stars and all that kind of stuff. This is the sky plot as to where it is in the sky. And what I found interesting about this is he used, before I even show you what he used, here's the image. You can actually blow it up and then have a look around it. So you can see there's some really, really great detail. And the first thing that gave it away to me when I first saw it, how I knew how he shot it, was the spikes that you get off a star. And when you see spikes like these, there's a certain kind of a lens that creates that. So as soon as I saw that, I said, oh, I know what he's using. And sure enough, I researched it, and that's exactly what he used, which I'll show you in a minute. But you can see, look at all that detail. And it's not just, the typical Orion Nebula that you see everybody take a picture of. It's not just the typical Horsehead Nebula and Flame Nebula, or even the Witch Head, which is way off to the right of Rigel, which you start to see a part of it there. It's not even all of that. It's everything. So look at the size of the field of view that you can actually take when you're using what I'm going to show you here in a minute. And it's absolutely gorgeous. And I remember when I first actually met Mike, we talked a little bit about, what do we like in terms of observing. And Mike always said, I just love the wide field. And this is, I think, one of the reasons why because of all that you can see. I mean, look at all of this photograph envelopes, and you can zoom in on it and look at all kinds of different pieces and parts of it. You see all the 3 stars in the belt. You see the area where Orion Nebula sits itself, which of course is a sword. You see Rigel down the bottom right corner, Betelgeuse up on the top left, even more stuff in and around it, not to mention that huge Barnard loop that's there. So this is all really, really, really interesting and impressive. So let me show you what this guy actually shot this with. I'm going to stop sharing. And I'm going to show you what he shot it with. First of all, I'm going to show you the lens.
Nifty 50?
Nifty 50.
Oh, wow.
A nifty 50, $150 lens, 50 millimeter f1.8 you can buy anywhere. That's the lens. Now, get ready for this. He used Canon 850D, which is, you could use a T3i if you want to. You can find them still. And you can buy these for like a couple of $100 now. They have an articulating screen in the back so you can aim it and do all what you need to do. And his camera was modified. And for those who don't know what modified means is, I don't know if I got enough power to turn this thing on. Do I? Yeah. So let me see if I can lift that lens up. One sec here. I don't know if I can, oh no, I need a battery, that's why. In any event, when you put this into live mode, in these old cameras, they have a mirror in them. So when you put it into live mode, it locks the mirror up and then you can see the sensor. On all cameras, in the front of the sensor itself, there's actually a piece of glass that goes in the front of the sensor. That piece of glass is a UV-IR cut filter. So when you go clean your sensor and all that stuff, don't ever fear that you're going to wreck your sensor because you're never going to touch it, because there's always a piece of glass in front of it, unless you modify it. If you modify it, what you're doing is you're removing that piece of glass from the front of it, and that UV-IR cut filter actually reduces 85% of the red nebulosity that we want in our images. And that's the reason why we take those filters off the front of the camera, because if I was to take a picture of me on there, I would look red. So the UV-IR cut filter actually makes it so that we see RGB at the normal way that we see it. So that's all you need to do is get one of these modified. I bought one modified with a very low shutter count. Matter of fact, it's this one from a guy in Montreal, already done for the camera, delivered everything. It was like $400. So you can get them for that. And he also had an extreme, I can't remember what the thing, the filter on it. But with these cameras, you can actually get what they call drop-in filters. So when your camera has no lens on the front, you take this little filter that's basically set up for the inside of where your sensor is, and you just drop it in there, and now you've got a filter on it. You go ahead and you put your lens on the camera, and now your camera's ready to go. The only other thing that he used besides this was a star tracker. He didn't use a big mount or anything. Just a simple Star Adventure star tracker. I think it was a Star Adventure. I'll check it to be sure, but it was one of those star trackers like we all have. So if you take your star tracker, you can buy them now $400 or $500 easy. You take the camera, say even 400 for one that's already modified if you want to go that far with it. So now what are we, $900? Not even. And then a lens for $150 for less than $1,000. You can be taking astro images just like that. So yeah, so don't feel that you have to go out there and buy a bunch of stuff. Now, keep in mind, he's an experienced user. He knows how to set his camera up, how to focus it. And this image, excuse me, the image we just looked at was 8 hours worth of data. So basically he was tracking, each one of his images were 120 seconds long. So that's what he shot, 8 hours worth of 120 seconds worth of images. And that's how he got his picture. And he put it in Photoshop. He used Surreal. He used a little bit of PixInsight just for certain filters that these other ones don't have. And he came up with this data. And those stars that you see are basically refraction spikes that these lenses create on stars when you see them like that. So Anyway, so I wanted to show that to show you that if it's something that you really think you want to do, it's really that simple. That's all there is to it. I mean, you have to know stuff, but it doesn't take a lot of expensive equipment to get some amazing shots of all the wonderful things that are up in the sky. So
Yeah.
that's it. That's what I want to show about Orion. That was what he shot, and just to show you how much of it. Oh, and by the way, this camera is not a full frame camera. This is an APS-C size sensor. So he got all that information. So had he had a full frame camera, he could have got the witch's head in there and everything else, similar to what Mike's picture was earlier.
Hmm.
There
Crazy.
you go.
Wow, fantastic.
I try to get 8 hours of data. I get 8 hours of Starlinks going through.
Oh, and by the way, Orion Nebula is probably one of the most photographed, if probably not the most photographed, between that and M31. Those are the two most photographed things that are out there. But they're both the two most dynamic range targets you'll ever have. So if you really want to practice taking some shots and doing a little blending, because with Orion, anybody who shot it, if they're trying to do it with one shot, are going to end up with the core blown out. All those the 5 little stars in the center. So you have to shoot that individually first at a very low exposure, and then shoot the rest of the stuff, and then blend the two together. But with Andromeda, you can shoot that without blending it, and still not have the core blown out. So those are the two easiest to see. They're actually both naked eye, and you can shoot them and practice away with your editing skills. So there you go.
Perfect. And a great binocular target too.
Yes.
And a great binocular target. Absolutely.
We'll show you a great binocular target in there tonight.
Okay. Well, I know we're a little late starting, so we're into half an hour now, so I guess we're probably that one okay, justice wise. So get out and take a look. Any clear night if you got, it's going to be up all winter long, and if you're depressed
Yep.
with snow and stuff, take a look up. Stop looking down, look up.
Yep.
Yep. Okay, Mike, you're up for Bundle Bud.
Let me see if I get the right screen here. This one. There. Alrighty, binocular target of the week. And of course, with our weather lately, you can see the clouds kind of washing it out a little bit. But it's a special target tonight. Get ready. The Orion S for snaz. Yeah. All right. Orion is a prominent constellation located on the celestial equator and visible throughout the world. Looking into Orion's belt between Minkataka and I love this, Alnilam, let's call it, you'll find 13 to 15 stars between magnitude 5 and 7 that actually form the letter S. And yes, they do form the letter S. How do I find it in the sky? Well, at 10 o'clock at night, if you went outside and oriented yourself 135 degrees southeast, looked up, you're going to see the Orion Constellation, and you look for those 3 in the belt, and it's right there by that star that I showed you. There's 5 stars, Mintaka. If you come up here, you look there, you find that 3rd star, Mintaka, and there's the S. It starts there and goes whoop, big S all the way down to the 2nd star. Pretty straightforward, and it stands out. 10 by 50 binoculars, look at this. Nice and big, and it makes a big curved S all the way down. So you can find it 10 by 50s, and it looks nice. It's big and it's bright, and it's really there. Compared to the full moon, got to be at least 4 full moons wide. So it's a good, big, steady, good sized target, easy to see. And are you ready for this one? Orion ordered a belt, but forgot to read the reviews. It only got 3 stars.
Oh my.
R.
Never really ready for them, no.
That's binocular target of the week by Banoba.
Oh man.
Yeah, okay. Whoa.
You got to read the reviews, man.
I guess. Not bad enough that we started late, but we got all these weird stuff happening to do. Okay, Mr. Paul.
They're called painful puns for a reason.
Yeah. Paul's going to deliver us another Rosanna Fun Factory now.
That's good. Yeah, let's do this, Rosanna. This is going to be a fun one, especially for me. Actually, for all of us. So let me just do my share screen one more time. And this is going to be this week's. Oops.
Rosanna's Fun Fact.
Hey. Welcome back, Rosanna, for another absolutely wonderful fun fact-filled day. So let's just get right down to it here. Let me get my first, whoops, where'd it go? Do that to me every time. Where'd the pictures go? Oh, hold on. Wrong way. There we go. Okay. Now I gotta find my my notes. I just lost my notes. Should be right here. Oh, wrong one. Jumping junipers. Where'd they go? Let's open it up again. How's that sound? There we go. Okay. Starting that all over again. Good. I feel like Chris. All right. Since the American election has ended, the news has gone back to a bubbling simmer rather than the all-out frothing mess it was beforehand. Possibly I'm just too busy with holidays to pay close attention. If we could only toss his phone in there. So I may have missed something while scanning between headlines of a new study stating that lobsters do feel pain when they are boiled, right down to Jarek Isaacman being the Trumponian appointee to lead NASA. Wow, a billionaire went on a tethered spacewalk today. Big deal. We have a billionaire who's been untethered for years. Although those two headlines are real in today's world, disinformation and alternative facts have become ambiguous. But not only in our present day world, nearly 200 years ago, one reporter inadvertently created a science hoax that captured global attention. Batman on the moon before Batman was even created. In August of 1835, the New York newspaper The Sun published a series of 6 articles detailing remarkable discoveries allegedly made by the well-known English astronomer Sir John Herschel. Penned by Herschel's fictional travel companion, Dr. Andrew Grant, the series began by describing an enormous telescope over 7 meters, almost 23 feet, in diameter, weighing 7 tons bigger than this sketch, which allowed Herschel to observe the moon in unprecedented detail. As the series progressed, it detailed Herschel's incredible finds. It described lush forests and vast seas that were home to fantastical beasts. There were unicorns, intelligent beavers had walked the surface, on 2 legs, and winged humans called man-bats, hence Batman, all depicted in lithographs like the one pictured here that ran with lots and lots of stories. The final article in this series described the unfortunate destruction of the telescope, which set to fire to the observatory where it was housed. Something like this, perhaps. The series was actually written by reporter Richard Adam Locke, who only confessed to the hoax years later. According to Locke, it was intended as a satire drawing attention to the influence of religion on scientific theories of the time. I swear, Herschel, I saw a cow on the moon. In particular, he wanted to ridicule the astronomy books of Reverend Thomas Dick, who predicted the abundant lunar life would be detected once telescopes became powerful enough. But just like the War of the Worlds radio broadcast by Orson Welles, Locke underestimated how willingly the public would believe his satire. The writings of Dick and others had primed people to accept such outlandish ideas, and Locke's decision to weave some truth into the fiction, such as using the name of a real and well-known astronomer, helped to make it all the more believable. In fact, Kurt has mentioned in his moon talks about a neighbor who has asked him about the animals that live on the moon. Some stories must get handed down generation by generation. So, did you hear about the epic cow fail? The moon mooed. The Sun didn't retract the articles or attempt to halt their spread, perhaps because their popularity was proving rather too profitable. Until weeks later, when the newspaper finally admitted the story was fabricated. But here is a true headline. A new mission will create an artificial solar eclipse in space. ESA's Probe 3 mission launched December the 5th, thus beginning its mission to study the Sun's corona. Probe 3 is a novel kind of mission in which a pair of spacecraft will fly in precise formation to create an artificial eclipse, lining up perfectly with the Sun so that one spacecraft's shadow is cast on the other. This will allow the trailing spacecraft to study the Sun's corona. This is going to be an epic adventure, but one that eclipse chasers will only be able to follow online. Well, until a spoof website offers a space ride to observe closely. And that is this week's
Rosetta's Fun Fact.
Hey,
Hey,
that's
so
cool.
much fun. That is so much fun. That's unbelievable.
I wish he finds this stuff.
yeah.
Well, you know what? All the hoaxes that go out there and all the we in this hobby, you hear it all.
All the time. Oh yeah, all the time.
And you're still never, you never know it all because all of a sudden somebody will hit you with a new one. It's like, whoa.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, thank you, Rosanna. That was an absolutely fun fact indeed.
The one with the two spacecraft there falling. You kind of think, gee, why didn't they come up with that earlier? Because I mean, we have to wait for a solar eclipse for the astronomers to get that beautiful view of the corona. Yeah, and I mean, why not just have a spacecraft one in front of the other and follow one around? So it's kind of it's an interesting proposal, and I think it's going to work out all right.
Oh, it's going to be interesting for sure.
Awesome.
It takes some
thank
pretty
you.
precise flying. I know that.
For sure. All right, let's get to some photos.
Yes.
1 second here. Okay, that's my part, so I'll have to bring them up.
All right. I guess I got time for coffee.
You get time for
There you go.
Yeah, talk amongst yourselves there.
Actually, I found a weird mix of coffee and iced tea together. It's actually pretty cool.
Oh,
Yeah, I made it by accident. And it turns out pretty tasty.
go. Take it to England
Yeah.
and have crumpets with it.
Tea and tea and coffee crumpets.
All
There
right.
we go.
This one. This is from David Hoskin. He says, "Hi, Chris." He said, "A couple of my recent photos of Jupiter and Io together.
Yes,
Nice.
sir.
Done, yeah.
And the great red spot.
Yeah, that's right. And the crescent moon and Venus, he says, here together. So,
Yeah, they were so pretty that night.
David, thank you, David. They're yeah, beautiful. Yeah, and I got a lot of captures of that one too sent in.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Thanks, David. Okay, I'm going to move on here to Mr. Brad Perry's captures. He said, just sharing a couple of photos from this week. I like he's always got the flashlight or the.
I don't know. I think it's so cold. That's his breath.
Yeah, could be. Well,
Went right to Orion too.
just sharing a couple of photos. He said from this week. One is of the winter constellation on Monday night. Winter constellations on Monday night when I just wanted to get outside and enjoy a clear sky and fresh snow. Yeah, that's for sure. There's our Orion.
That looks so enjoyable, doesn't it?
You got them both.
Jupiter sitting there right in the horns of Taurus as well. All gonna be sitting there all winter, well, pretty well all winter long. And the Pleiades up here, nice shot.
Yeah, really.
This one here, the other, he said this from last night or Saturday night of the moon in Saturn, just as they were setting over downtown Fredericton.
Wow.
Saturn's way.
He's got a nice foreground there to work with, doesn't he?
That's
Yeah.
beautiful.
Interesting building, nice reflection.
Saturn's
Gorgeous.
Awesome.
Good job.
Great stuff. Thanks, Brad. All right. Going to move into some. We did talk a little bit about Starlinks this week. There was a number of passes over. Unfortunately, the best passes or the brightest passes were happening just after sunset this week. So the ones that were around magnitude 2.8, 3 kind of thing, and they were, they would have been a nice bright pass if the sun's had to set maybe an hour earlier. But then some people were going out like a half an hour or so later, after the times I had mentioned one time, and then they went out a half an hour later and said, "Yeah, I just saw them." Well, that wasn't the same group. It was a different group of satellites. But because the sky was dark enough, they got to see the contrast. So it did actually pop up like this one here from Patty Gordon here.
Well, right on.
So she captured a few shots like that. So they are all lined up. I mean, they're we all know what they're all about, but they are interesting to watch for sure.
Oh yeah.
Here's one from Jen Cormier from Moncton area. She caught the same ones.
Oh, they're close.
Wow. Yeah, that must have just come off the rocket, eh?
Yeah. This is from Michelle Smith, starlings from Blue Rocks, Nova Scotia.
Yes, sir.
Now I did tell people, hey, go out and take a look, and someone took a look, and some of them weren't actually passing over the whole sky. They were only in the sky for maybe from the horizon up, say 10 degrees, and then they disappeared.
Yeah.
Some people were expecting them to pass right over the top. So
What's really interesting about those is there's a lot of people who still don't know about them.
right.
And
Yeah.
I was down at that place that we did our workshop, and I was standing outside, and somebody drove right up to me, and they said, "Oh my God, did you see what just happened?" And they were freaking right out.
So
Aliens.
that's from Michelle Smith. There's from Laura Haggerty. Nice.
Nice.
Oh, nice, yeah. Beautiful.
Shine. Beautiful.
I might have these mixed up a little bit. That was from Carol B. And that's Laura Haggerty. This is her shot from Musquash, actually.
Okay.
And here's Carol B. and shot from St. Stephen. Yeah.
There you go.
Crescent Moon and Venus together. And I've got some other ones here as well. Here's another one from Kim Gilbert.
That's nice.
Yeah,
Hey,
it's like
No, sorry,
Bob
that's
Rails
Carol
down the
Bean as
street.
well. I'm sorry, that's Carol Bean as well from St. Stephen as well. Yeah.
yeah, that's really nice. I like that.
Yeah. Seasonal for sure. And I think the next one is Kim Gilbert. Yes, it is. It's taken with her Sea Stars telescope, she says.
Right on.
There you go. That's the detail, eh?
Yeah.
Very nice.
Well then. Shelley Armstrong got this one. She said just took this just before dark at St. Rest Beach. So
Yes,
there
sir.
we are, moving together. Always look pretty pictures.
That's a sliver too.
Yeah. Sharon Hazelton. She said beautiful night in Rossay.
Yeah, that was cool to look at though when you get Moon and Venus that close.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Heather Brown, Moon and Venus together.
Yes, sir.
And from there over to Peter McNabb, Moon and Venus. And then Leon Laval said his picture didn't turn out very good, but it was nice to be able to see it. So
Oh, there you go.
What's wrong with that?
yeah. I mean, you got the what am I trying to say? Earthshine.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's nice.
It's not a good day for some reason. Okay.
Oh, cool.
From Pamela O'Donnell or David Kirkpatrick. This is David Kirkpatrick's capture. Yeah.
Oh.
And this one's from Pamela O'Donnell. So Pam said she thought she saw some aurora this morning, early this morning. Now
Oh,
she's looking east northeast. I don't know exactly where the sun was coming up. She was right around 6 o'clock, and it may be possible. It might have been something to do with sun though too. I'm not quite sure. But and there are a couple of coronal holes right now on the sun, which they kind of strip back the chromosphere and they allow more charged particles to exit the sun's stream in the solar wind. So is that what that is? I'm not quite sure, but if it was, it would have been nice for sure.
still a nice celestial
Looking
thing to look at, though, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Grabbed this one from Robert Cadet, his open cluster NGC 1893, Tadpoles Nebula in Auriga. He said it's approximately 12,400 light years away, taken with the C-Stars 50, 1 hour and 15 minutes exposure time, processed in the Hubble palette with Serum, denoised in Gray Expert, and further processing in Photoshop.
There you go.
Yeah. The tadpoles right there.
Yeah,
Very nice.
there, right there. Yeah, cool.
Yeah. Tadpoles. That's a nice shot.
Nice shot. And I think that's all we had. Oh, we had this one from Kathy Adams as well, to December the 7th moon. So last night's moon.
That's
Which
it.
beauty thinks it's at first quarter tonight. So nice shot, Kathy.
Yeah, very nice.
And this one was from Derek King. These are some late arrivals. I got Derek sent me an email, but we didn't get the attachment till later. So this is a couple that he captured.
Yes, sir.
And he said, here's one with the
Oh, some star trails. Look at that.
Oh, Star Trails.
awesome.
Crazy.
Oh, and this guy here. Yeah, this is me
Who's
doing
that
my
guy?
thing. Yeah.
That's King Orion.
You king around. Do some classroom talks. That was a nice group. It was grade threes students. I got about 40 there. But I just walked in the classroom and the teacher introduced me and the hands went up right away. You didn't have a chance to present anything. And for the first, I guess, 25 minutes or so, the hands were up and they love asking questions. And
Did
I
they
don't
ask
know the answers, but I try. But um, the kids are very interested in space today. I find the more classrooms I visit, the more I find that they're really interested in what's happening, right? So I try to present as often as I can. Uh, and it's from elementary to high school for me, or to junior high, I guess. I haven't really done high school. Yes, I did. I did talk at high school. So um, it's interesting to get my time away just to take the questions in and they sop up the information like sponges. Just they just love it, right? So
Uh,
anyway, it's a
So,
lot of
did you find out if crabs have eyebrows?
I haven't been asked that one. Really? No. Don't think I've been asked that one, but I'll look it up, Paul. I'll Google it. Like the Crab Nebula. Do you think there's eyebrows in Crab Nebula, maybe?
I
Or
don't know.
maybe.
okay.
If you guys have any photos, sure, send them to astronomybythebay@gmail.com and we'll be happy to put them up on the next broadcast. Maybe find a crab with eyebrows. Yeah, okay.
I'm still trying to figure out where did that come from?
I don't know. Yeah, it just comes out of nowhere. It always does. One of those weird evenings tonight for sure. Okay, well, tonight, if you're out early tonight, you would have caught the first quarter moon near Saturn tonight.
Okay.
Of course, off to the west. Am I missing something here?
I'm still laughing about the eyebrow thing.
Okay.
Sorry.
Anyway, that's tonight's view. Tomorrow night, Saturn will be on the opposite side of the moon, of course, over here. I'm sorry, the moon will be farther away from Saturn tomorrow night. That's
He
it. Yeah,
got all flustered, didn't he?
I did. Yeah. Venus is in the lower west during almost just after sunset. We still have it in our evening sky. We have Venus, we have Saturn, we have Jupiter, we have Mars arising now. So we've got a nice lineup of planets there for the next little bit. On Friday evening, December the 13th, the moon meets the Pleiades star cluster. And that does that pretty well regularly. But this always makes a nice photo. If you can get the two of them together in the field of view of binoculars, it's always nice. I think that's all I really had. Yeah, and if you wanted to find out more information, you can go to Lisa's Lookup, Astronomy and More. You can find Lisa at Ruby Moonbeams on Instagram, Mastodon, Facebook, Threads, and now Blue Sky. Yay, Lisa. So Lisa puts out this great chart every month. It's the list of events, the dates of the events and the times, and then she lists the seeing tools, naked eye, binoculars, or a telescope. So you can find Lisa again at Ruby Moonbeams on Instagram, Mastodon, Facebook, Threads, and now Blue Sky. And here's our St. John Astronomy Club Raskin B calendar that was put together by Kirk Nason. Here's the next 6 weeks, I'll say, right up into January 18th. And he does list all of the events that are happening, including the Geminid meteor shower that's happening next weekend, but I believe that's right around full moon. So you might not get much of a show this year. Actually, the next morning, Sunday, is full moon. So you might get a lot of them washed out, but the Geminids are known for fireballs too. So we might get an opportunity to see some, because hopefully you have some clear sky. He does list these little blue things here are actually transits or they're eclipses. So these are the 4 Galilean moons of Jupiter. And he lists the times when they're going to be able to see them passing in front of Jupiter if you're taking a photo, or you might even see the shadow. Like here in December Tuesday night, there's a transit time 1821 to 2032, but then Io's shadow actually passes across the planet from 1826 to 2038. So if you got a good enough telescope and you're zoomed in on Jupiter, you can actually watch Io and its shadow being dragged across the planet. So that's kind of a neat thing to capture. Maybe we'll get somebody here that'll capture that for us for next week. Anyway, lots of things happening through the next 6 weeks. So you can find that at sjastronomy.ca. Just go to that website and you can download the calendar right there. And I think that's all I got.
Ta-da.
That's probably enough. Okay, so what else can I mess up here? All right, let's go here and we'll go here and here.
Oh God.
Okay,
All right.
all right, I think. Well, maybe just a minute. Oh, not yet.
That's a raise an eyebrow.
Or two.
Never mind.
We're going to talk about that later on, I guess. Okay, so that's our show for this evening. Hope you enjoyed the program tonight. It's such a what it was. I mean, every once in a while, it's what it's all about, going live. We learned that lesson before. We don't get too upset about it anymore, do we, guys?
No.
Okay, so special thanks goes out to Rosanna as well for her interesting fun facts this evening. Thank you, Rosanna, once again. Special thanks to all of our friends out there who share our program for us, sharing it with your friends and family. Number two, we do love getting your photos, so send them into astronomybythebay@gmail.com, and we'll be happy to put them on our next broadcast. And a special thanks to our friends at Rogers for joining us this evening. So, as we like to say, guys, open your eyes to view the skies and keep your scopes.
Wind up.
Put it up.
Way up.
Hey. Okay. And good night, everybody.